Okay, so our next topic is on triangle inequality. So triangle inequality talks about what three numbers could actually be the size of a triangle. Not any three numbers can make up a triangle. So the rule for triangle inequality is the two smallest numbers, the two smallest sides of the triangle need to add up to be greater than the biggest side. So whichever the two shortest sides are, when you add them together, they need to add up to be bigger than the biggest side. Okay? So there's a couple different ways they can ask you to use this information. So like in this example, they're giving you three side lengths and saying, could these three numbers make up a triangle? So you're going to pick the two smallest, and we're going to add the two smallest together. Okay. So like in letter A, I have 6, 7, 8. I usually circle the biggest number. So out of 6, 7, 8, what is the biggest number? It's an 8, obviously. So you're going to add those other two numbers together. 6 plus 7. What is 6 plus 7? It is 13. Is the 13 bigger than the third side they gave you? 8. Is 13 bigger than 8? Yes. So then yes, this is a triangle. Bam. Okay, so this is really a yes or no question. So yes. Okay. The second one, which is the biggest number in this group? 1, 4, or 2? Obviously, 4 is the biggest number. So I'm going to add the other numbers. 1 plus 2. What is 1 plus 2? 3. Is 3 bigger than 4? No, it definitely is not. So then this is not a triangle. These could not make up a triangle. Okay. How about this last one? 15, 10, and 5. Which is the biggest number? Obviously it's 15. Add the other numbers. Okay. 10 plus 5. What is 10 plus 5? 15. Is 15, that I just got when I added, bigger than the side, the 15 from the question? Is 15 greater than 15? No. It's equal to 15, but not bigger. So then if it's equal and not bigger, then you're going to say, no, that's not a triangle. Okay? So that's one way they can ask you. They can give you all three numbers and say, yes or no, is it a triangle? Another way they can ask you is they're going to give you two numbers and they're going to ask, well, what could the third side be? Give me the range. What numbers could it be between? Okay? So when I'm answering this question, usually all my answer, it's going to look like an inequality because they want, well, what is the smallest number it could be all the way up to the biggest number it could be. Okay? So for both of these questions, I'm going to set that up. X is supposed to say, like, represent what's the third side. That's X. Okay? So basically this is saying, oh, well, X is between whatever number we get here and whatever number we get here. So I'm going to set that up for both of them. Now, how do you figure out what numbers it has to be between? Well, that's where the two numbers they gave you come into play. So they're saying, okay, well, if two of the sides are 5 and 9, how do we use that to figure it out? So you do it the same way every time. To get the smallest number, you're going to subtract these numbers. Now, you always do, like, you cannot get a negative number. So for this side, you're going to subtract those numbers. And this side, you're going to add to get those numbers. So on this side, I'm doing bigger minus smaller. So 9 minus 5. What is 9 minus 5? It's 4. And then on the other side, you're adding the numbers. So 9 plus 5. 9 plus 5 is 14. So this means, what this says up here is that, okay, my third side has to be between the numbers 4 and 14, but it cannot actually equal either 4 or 14. So it's got to be somewhere in the middle. So this is my answer. Let's try another one. So on this one, if my two sides are 10 and 11, what is the third side? What could it be between what numbers? So I'm still doing the same thing. To get the smallest, I subtract. And to get the largest, I add. So when I'm subtracting, am I going to do 10 minus 11 or 11 minus 10? Well, I'm going to do bigger minus smaller. 11 minus 10. Because you cannot get a negative side length. That's not a thing. Like a side of a triangle can't be a negative number. And then for adding, we're doing 11 plus 10. So when I do 11 minus 10, that is 1. And when I do 11 plus 10, that's 21. So this is my answer. The third side has to be between the numbers 1 and 21, but it cannot actually equal either of those numbers. Okay? So number 3 is like what you would expect to see on a test. So this one says, which of the following could be the length of the third side of the triangle that has side lengths 12 and 7? So this is very similar to this question right here, but now they're asking a specific number. Which of these numbers is in this range? Okay, so I'm going to set up my little range thing again. So it's between this number, our third side is between this number and this number. How do I get those numbers? Well, the small number we subtract, large number we add. So when I am subtracting, am I going to do 12 minus 7 or 7 minus 12? Well, you got to do bigger minus smaller so you don't get a negative number. 12 minus 7, and then adding 12 plus 7. So 12 minus 7 is 5. 12 plus 7 is 19. So my answer needs to be between 5 and 19, but it cannot be either of those numbers. So is 2 in between 5 and 19? Definitely not. It's way smaller than 5, so no. Is 5 between 5 and 19? Well, it is 5, but we said, oh, it can't actually be this number. It's got to be bigger than 5. So it's not going to be B, because it's got to be bigger than 5. 5 is not bigger than 5. 15, is 15 between 5 and 19? Yes. So I'm going to put a question mark. Possibly. That's a strong possible. And choice D, 22. Is 22 between 5 and 19? Well, no. 22 is bigger than 19, so definitely not that. So final answer is 15. Okay? If you need to, go back and rewatch the video. Otherwise, you can get started on the practice.